Okay, welcome to my channel. Kind of had this out of commission for a little while. The front servo gears in this are plastic and they ended up stripping out on me, and so this thing won't even turn. The wheel just kind of does this when I go to turn it in the front, and then nothing happens really. So these have been on back order for a little while. These are the metal gear upgrade for the servo, and I'm going to take this apart and show you how to install all this and get it all back together. It came with a lithium grease. You can also order the complete servo and just bolt it in, but this is a cheaper alternative, but you have to wait, is the problem. Okay, we'll get this, we'll dig into this. Looks like we can kind of do this by hand. Not sure. Looks like we're gonna have to unclip this little zip tie right there. It's just a little zip tie holding those wires together. Okay, I was able to sneak that out with that arm on there. And we need a Phillips head screwdriver, a small one. Okay, I found one. Now I'm just gonna do this, a little microfiber towel over this, and then put this here. So if I drop those screws, I can see them. Just put those down to the side. They're a pretty long screw. Need this 2.0, and I'll put it in my, so we're gonna have to hold this and get it in the drill. Give that a little pop. There it is. Okay, let's get this little cover off. Put that to the side. Okay, so the problem is that right in here, there's a plastic part in there, little tiny gear. You can hardly see it, but it's completely stripped out in there. So we will get these gears pulled off. Okay, we'll get our new ones lined up to this one. I'm just going to put this to the side. Let's get this over here. Get out this new kit. This is the kit. So it is 2064R from Traxxas. Comes with a lithium grease and all the gears to change this. Okay, it does give us a good little description here, a little picture how to put that back together. So we will base it off from this and gears right there. Looks like there's a little white piece here that looks like this. I don't know if I can get that in my hand. These little parts are so small. Let's see if I can get that up. It has like a little notch on it. You can see that. I don't know how well you can see that. There's a little notch on this one side, and it goes underneath this gear. So what I'm going to do is, to keep this stuff sticky, to stick together, we'll get some lithium grease going here. And this gear has that notch. Okay, we get that slid in there. So this was actually the gear right here. On the stock one was plastic, and this one stripped out. So we'll get this one swapped out. This is the next piece. We gotta grab this rod. Let's see about grabbing this rod. Oop. That rod pulls out. Now we can look through this, and you can see right here the failure in that servo was right there. Completely all garbage. Like just stripped that out. Okay, we're just gonna leave that in line. Line up our new one next to it. There's an O-ring on the top of this old stock one. We'll just make sure we get that off. Work that around. That's going to be waterproofing for this servo. Some lithium grease on your finger. Pick that right up. Put that right on. Till it's based out right there. A little base of it. Okay. Now you're going to want to get this little shaft. The stock, it came out of the stock gearing. And we'll go from underneath this. Put that up in there. And then there's a flat spot on that. That's going to go in there. Take this little flathead. Get this one off. And then this one is going to come out. And then this one, to replace it, goes back on. Along with this one. This tiny little, which goes down. Get a little lithium grease on my finger. Just gonna grab that bugger. It's a little trick. Okay. And then spin that until the gears line up and that drops in. Now we should be able to get this all back in here. Now there's a little flat spot on this shaft, and in there's the flat spot, so you got to get that lined up, and that way it'll should drop right in. That looks like it's it. And we can put a little more lithium grease in here. Probably a little is fine, but I'm gonna pepper it with a lot here. These bolts go back in it. Big long Phillips head screws. So just go snug, crisscross it, jump around, lock that down, and then we're going to do a little test. Looks like we're good. Steering trim's good. There's a little dot on this, and it's lined up completely straight right now, and that's where we'll line this little servo arm right up, and we'll get that bolted back on. Okay, we can always trim that out. That's fine. Okay, get this back on. I'm just gonna hand tighten this, make sure it's snug. That'll be good. Everything works. When I let off, it's completely straight. I'm gonna get this unplugged. We'll get this back in here. Now I managed to fish this down through. It was a little tricky. There we go. Now we'll just get these top bolts in first. These two shorter ones and the 1.5. you can see that. They're right in there though. And these ones I would suggest is hand tight without anything. Okay, so we got this bolt in there and two, and that was what made this whole servo come out. You flip it around, and that was that servo arm that I put on right there. And we just got to put this one last bolt through here, and we will get that back together. It's hard stuff to work on just because of how small it is, but it's not that difficult. Okay, you just have to catch those threads, and that ends up getting in there no problem. Now this, we can put the handle on, just make sure it's snug. Okay, now let's get that battery back in. So now, looks like we need to trim it up a little bit. Looks pretty good. And that servo works way better now. Okay. Okay, there it is. Very powerful now. Very responsive. Hope you liked it. Subscribe.